Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. Leading up to Spider-Man Far From Home, we decided to revisit and give our review on Spider-Man Homecoming. So grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy. That's funny, that I do that with music albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When did that come out? What was I doing in my life when that came out?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the reverse, though. You're like, when did I get married? Wait, when did Iron Man 3 come out? 2013. Yes, okay.
So, Josh, how have you been? It's been a week.
Yeah, I had a barbecue on the weekend.
You didn't invite me.
Yeah, well, you know my policy. Once a week with you. I got a new barbecue, and so I took it on its maiden voyage. It's a cast iron grill, though, so a lot of it's stuck because it had not been seasoned at all. Or
That's okay. You just burn it off next time.
yeah, I used it tonight. Worked pretty great.
Nice. What'd you have?
Chicken with some Paul Newman's bourbon sauce on it.
That sounds good.
It was good.
I guess last week when you had your barbecue, I was at the Butter Tart Festival.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I forgot how much I love butter tarts. I ate 4 in an hour. I felt like garbage.
How big are these?
You're like your average size, but like the one I had 2 that had bacon in them.
Oh.
And they were loaded. It's really good. Like it's not weird. You get like
it
mostly
sounds weird, but I'll take your word for it.
It's mostly butter tart, but then you get like flavors of bacon every so often, every other bite.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the only downside is because of the bacon grease, I'm assuming it makes it very runny.
Oh.
So
I like a runny butter tart.
Buddy tart.
Just call them buddy tarts from now on. Yeah, I like a buddy tart with where you bite into it and it just kind of starts to ooze out, like the cream inside.
Yeah.
So good.
No, but this bacon one, it ran out. I could literally dip and pour it.
Oh. You're just eating grease because the grease has nowhere to go.
It's so good though. It's worth it.
Do you like a flaky buddy tart?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm more of crumbly.
You know, I don't discriminate. Yeah. I will eat both happily.
Pecans or raisins?
Oh, pecans for sure.
Oh, raisin buddy tart? That's the best.
You know, I've never had a raisin one.
Okay, so
maybe not. Maybe I do like raisin because I love raisins.
So instead of getting the crunchy feel, you get a nice chewy feel to it. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm fat.
You're not fat, Victor.
I'm like skinny fat. I'm like skinny with a gut.
Okay, I'll agree to that. But it's only recently.
It's not going away, Josh.
Yeah, well, you're a little bit closer to the back 9 now.
All right.
I got some news. Spider-Man is in the middle of its press tour, Victor, as you know. Tom Holland got into some trouble. He's catching backlash for revealing an Avengers Endgame spoiler on the Graham Norton show.
Endgame? Come on.
Yeah. People were complaining because he said that Iron Man was dead. What do you think about that? Does he deserve the backlash or?
No, because it's been, 2 months?
Yeah.
And they talk about his death in the trailers for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
That was my thought as well. It was a leading question. But yeah, he does not deserve that. I mean, he spoils a lot of things, but come on.
Yeah.
Come on. If you haven't seen it by now, like maybe you don't really care that much.
Yeah.
Or your life is extremely busy. Maybe
Plus,
you're a Marine.
it's one of those movies that's become so popular that like
it's unavoidable.
Yeah, and if you're not, yeah, because if you cared about it that much, you should have gone and seen it 2 months ago.
Yeah, I agree. Victor, Paul Rudd has joined the cast of the new Ghostbusters movie.
Ant-Man?
Nope.
Okay, that's
something else.
Okay, but how does that work?
They pay him money and he acts on camera. I think that's usually how it works.
It's not a Marvel movie?
No, Ghostbusters is not a Marvel movie.
Oh, I heard Ghost Rider.
Oh, I was like, why is this such a hard thing to grasp? Actors get paid to be in movies.
Ant-Man's going to be in Ghost Rider?
And that's how you find out about it? Oh, by the way, there's a Ghost Rider movie and Ant-Man is in it. No, Ghostbusters. He's joining Ghostbusters.
That's cool.
Yeah. Does that make you more or less excited to see the movie?
Yes.
More.
Yeah. I feel like Paul Rudd sells movies for me.
That's fair. There's been lots of movies that I've watched because of Paul Rudd. Was it Our Idiot Brother?
Nope, never seen
Watched that movie because Paul Rudd was in it.
it. Was he the idiot brother?
Yeah. And what a
Makes
mistake that was. Wanderlust? Was he in that one?
You know what? That movie sounds familiar.
I don't know. He's been in some stinkers. I'll just say that. But he's great in all of them.
Yeah, is it weird that like there's actors are in a lot of horrible movies but still keep getting movies?
They're charming in them, right?
Yeah, I wonder if is it because of their performance or not necessarily based off the movie, I guess.
Maybe they're just really smart and they like get the next deal before the movie comes out. I'm in this new movie. It's going to be big. And then they're like, yeah, okay, we'll sign you. And then there's like, that movie sucked. And it's like, too late. You already signed.
Suck it.
Not that Paul Rudd does that. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I got
Ghostbusters. That actually does make me even more excited about it.
So do you think this is connected to the all-female Ghostbusters?
No. If anything, it's connected to the original two. And there's rumor, I think Sigourney Weaver has said that she's coming back.
Of course, why wouldn't she?
And there's like pretty strong rumor that Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and probably Ernie Hudson will come back.
It's really banking on that selling tickets, eh?
Yeah.
You think it's going to be cameos or you think they're going to play a part?
I don't know. I kind of hope it's a passing the torch kind of thing. I think that's the only real way you can do it. Anyway, yeah, that makes me more excited.
When's it coming out?
I think next year. I think they're starting to film in September. So,
Dang.
Yeah. Okay, I just got some quick Marvel news.
Yeah.
Ray Winstone, he's going to be in Black Widow.
Yes.
Do you know who that is?
No.
He's kind of like he's kind of like a thug type guy. He was in the last Indiana Jones movie.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, you didn't see it. You didn't see it. He was in The Departed.
The Departed, I didn't see that either.
Oh, he's so hopeless. How is this helpful? He was in that Beowulf movie. Just his credits are going to get more obscure as we go.
Wait, what's his name?
Ray Winstone.
An older dude?
Yeah, he's like in his 50s or something. He looks like a brawler.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
So anyway, he's going to be in Black Widow. But did you see the set photos that popped up this week?
Yes, only the one you sent me with potential Taskmaster.
Yeah, there was some. Well, sorry, there was some set photos from Black Widow, and there's this guy in a full head to toe costume, wearing like a cowl and mask, and he's sitting on top of an armored car.
Very Taskmaster like.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like Taskmaster, but not a lot that you're just like, yes, that's Taskmaster. So there's like it's like kind of up in the air whether it is him, but there were some photos today.
I mean, the colors fit.
Yeah, like he has some white, he had an orange bow, and he has a hood, but the mask doesn't have a skull. So that's what gives me
looks like a
pause.
Power Ranger.
A little bit, yeah.
That's cool though. I dig it.
Yeah. If you look at his shoulder pad, it has like the T for Taskmaster.
Sure it's not just part of the design?
I think it's supposed to be like a part of the design, but like, you know how they imply things like with Crossbones, how he had that like the scratches to make it look like the X that he always had in his costume.
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of wish he had the skull mask, but if that's kind of like how the rest of his suit looks, I'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I wonder, maybe that's like his first form.
First form.
Maybe like his mask gets melted or something like that, or I don't know, but that's exciting. Taskmaster is a cool villain.
This is a prequel Black Widow movie. But it'd be cool if they use this to introduce Taskmaster so he can show up later on in other films.
Yeah, like a Dark Avengers.
Yeah.
Or just as a villain to someone else. Yeah, if you're listening and you're not familiar with Taskmaster, he is this mercenary type, but he has this cool ability where if he sees something, he can mimic it physically. So like if he sees you do a backflip, just by seeing you do a backflip, he knows how to do a backflip now.
Yeah.
Or the more pragmatic use of it is he can learn your fighting style just by watching you.
Yeah.
And so he carries like a bow and like a shield and a sword. And
yeah, it's a mimic like Hawkeye and Cap.
He's like one of the best fighters in the Marvel universe. Ooh, maybe he's in Shang-Chi.
No.
Like not as like the villain.
That'd be cool if he just shows up kind of like Boba Fett throughout the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Boba Fett. Now I think about it.
A more Power Ranger version of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it's Taskmaster.
We just hyped ourselves up for nothing.
The other Marvel news, Victor, is Salma Hayek has joined the cast of Eternals.
I have no idea who that is.
That's another big get on Marvel's part. Do you want to look her up real quick? Because I think you'll know her by sight.
Oh, that's her. Cool. She's in Grown Ups too.
Yeah, didn't she played someone's wife, like Kevin James's wife or something? Because that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, that cast is getting nuts.
I wonder.
I'm sorry if there's a peanut allergy out there. It's a microaggression. It's can't say crazy. That's a microaggression too. Yeah, it's getting a little ridiculous. Like they got Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek,
Potentially Keanu Reeves.
Kumail Nanjiani. That's more for me, but
I don't know who that is.
he's like all of them you could put at the end of the credits and be like, and Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek. The credits for this movie is just going to be Kumail Nanjiani and. I read this week, Victor, that Warner Brothers originally, when they were making the first Batman movie, the 1989 Batman, that they were casting more for Batman and not Bruce Wayne. So they wanted an action star to play Batman. And so at one point, Steven Seagal was in talks.
Think about how the moviescape would have looked with Steven Seagal.
I don't think that movie works with Steven Seagal.
No, absolutely not. It doesn't. Nothing works with Steven Seagal.
I think he would still be Batman if
they try to cancel his contract. Like, no, that's not how it works here. I'm Batman now.
I have never seen a Steven Seagal movie.
What?
I have avoided him like the plague.
What? How do we live together for like 4 years?
I don't know.
And you not see a single Steven Seagal? I think I've watched all of his movies.
Really?
Throughout college, yeah.
Okay. Like I've heard rumors about all these things where he actually like hits stunt guys, and like there was one point where he started getting a little tubby, so like he asked them to stretch the frame vertically so he looked thinner.
That's not how. Okay.
Everyone else looked stretched too, but he looked thinner.
Yeah, his movies are very
terrible.
Yeah, let's use terrible, but like the action sequences are fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of ridiculous. It's like it's they make him so godly in those fight sequences. It just doesn't seem.
Who makes them godly? Who really makes them godly?
The old Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most movies, I think the formula is the same. He beats the crap out of everyone without an issue, and then at the end he gets hit once, and that's when he goes full Steven Seagal and beats the crap out of you.
Okay, if not Steven Seagal, and you were casting Batman, not Bruce Wayne, who would you cast?
And this is like in the 90s landscape. I've never seen a single superhero movie besides the Superman.
Yeah, Superman is the only movie.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, that would make sense.
He does the splits, man. That's crazy.
I'm Batman. Was that a good Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I don't know.
He's French, right? That wasn't a very good French accent. I've been drinking.
It'd be funny though if they cast him as with like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think he was in the running at one point. I've heard that before. Bill Murray was in it in the running at one point.
What?
You know, action star Bill Murray. No, someone wanted to do like a really darker version of Batman in like the mid 80s, and Bill Murray was rumored to be Bruce Wayne.
I'm just picturing the cowl over that face. It just doesn't scream Batman.
Bill Murray could do it though. Like he can play dark.
But do you think they would have made him get into shape?
No, it would have been like 80s in shape, right? Like you don't have a belly.
You don't have a belly. You have a hint of a six pack.
Yeah, like you just have kind of like the side abs.
Yeah, you just oil them up whenever you need to show the abs.
Yeah, and your hairy chest.
Yeah, glistening and hairy.
Like how Mark Ruffalo is in shape. Like that's what they would look like, and that would be Batman. I'd be like, wow, that guy's so awesome.
Well, who would you cast?
That's a good question.
Take your time. Take your time.
I probably would have said Jean-Claude Van Damme as well. I wouldn't cast him. I'm just more like that's who I would see them casting if they tried to do that. Like Steven Seagal. That's
I want to be a fly on the wall in that meeting room when they pitch Steven Seagal.
To be fair though, at that time, Steven Seagal was like
making good movies.
I don't know about making good movies, but he was a safe bet. Like it would be like if we put him in this, he will deliver, and we will probably make money. Wesley Snipes. They would not start with a black Batman.
That's a very dark version of Batman.
Wow. Wow.
Low hanging fruit.
Hey, If everyone goes for the high fruit, who's going to pick the low stuff? It's going to rot and fall off otherwise.
Exactly. See, doing the world a favor. Charlie's Angels?
Charlie's Angels. You want to talk about that?
Is that what you're going to talk about next?
No, but we can. I don't have a lot to say about it. Like there's not.
I really like the cast.
Okay. You talk for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I can't remember the name of the actress is.
Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, I don't know. She's in it. I like her in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen her in any of the other movies, but like this one, I don't know. She seems pretty good in it.
She's a good actress.
Yeah. The action sequences look pretty good. Trailer looks good in general. And you have Picard showing up.
That's true. Sir Pat was in it.
And then we got who's the other big guy they had in there?
Jim Onsu, the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he's I think he's probably the villain.
No, he looked like he was helping out Princess Jasmine. I think her name's Naomi Scott.
Yeah.
I liked her.
Yeah, I liked her in that too. I was expecting like her to be the third Charlie's Angels already. I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought the same thing. Like it was just they're already established and they do a mission.
Yeah, this is like an origin story.
Yeah, at least for one of them.
Oh, it seems pretty cool. I'm pretty excited because it looks like one of those very like well designed movies, like set piece.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it didn't have very much personality at all. I was just kind of like watching it and going like, ugh, yawn. I don't know. It was just hard to describe, but it was just like, it looks like every action movie since Casino Royale. Like it kind of has the same set design.
That's probably why, like, yeah. Because I really like Casino Royale's like set design and stuff.
I did too. Back in 2007 or whatever when that came out.
Maybe because I don't watch a lot of other movies outside of Marvel.
Fair.
It's hard for me to.
Granted, it's a trailer, so they're not going to like show the entire character arc in a trailer. Yeah, this isn't
a Spider-Man movie.
No. But like, I just felt that the Kristen Stewart and the other, the smart one, I just felt that both of them were like so capable that it was not believable. You know what I mean? Like they didn't.
Like they were so good at everything.
Yeah, like it was Avery Brooks who plays Captain Sisko, Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
He has this cool quote that I'll paraphrase. It was basically like, if you write a character with the intention of empowering a minority, 9 times out of 10, it ends up not being a realistic character because you make them infallible because everything goes right for them because you're not trying to write them realistically. You're trying to make them look good.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that that's what's happening here. Naomi Scott looked good in it. Like she looked like she was a real person. Anyway, I mean, that's just off the first trailer. I was just kind of like, whatever. But I need to see more.
Yeah. Honestly, I probably could just go into theaters and watch this movie right now.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Done.
All right.
Sold. So, Josh, we've talked about doing a Spider-Man pitch.
Yeah,
a pitch for the third movie.
Yeah, the next one in the MCU Spidey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first? Or you want to go first?
Up to you.
I can go first.
Okay.
But I think based off of how Sony has been itching to do the Sinister Six for like the last 2 other Spider-Man trilogies, I think they're gonna do Sinister Six for the third one, or at least very least do like a 2-parter where they set it up in the first movie.
Sure.
I think this is going to be focused more around the villains as opposed to Spider-Man himself. So thinking like Infinity War. I want to say like Doc Ock is the one planning, or maybe like if Norman Osborn is the guy that bought out Avengers Tower.
Right.
And he's the one that's been like monitoring Spider-Man and like gathering these villains.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In attempts to like take him out so that he can reign his Dark Avengers over New York.
So it's the Avengers, but with villains.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think that'd be cool.
So who's your lineup then?
I guess you wouldn't count Norman Osborn, but like I think Doc Ock would be like a good.
Okay, so if you do Norman Osborn, you're saying he's not fighting then. It's not him and 5 other guys, it's him and 6 other guys.
I think it's him and 6 other guys.
Okay.
I think Norman Osborn would be. I think it'd be kind of cool if he kind of took over the mantle of like Iron Man.
Yeah.
If he did like the Iron Patriot. I think it'd be smart to introduce him as like the background master puppeteer.
Mm-hmm.
And just have the Sinister Six be their own little Avengers on their own, not connected to Norman directly.
Sure.
Or maybe, I don't know. I feel like I just contradicted myself, but whatever. But 6, you'd have Vulture, Shocker, Mysterio, obviously.
Uh-huh.
And then Chameleon. I think it'd be cool. Doc Ock. I think it'd be weird to not have him. And then can't do Rhino. You can't do Kraven.
Why not?
Rhino they did in the last Mark Webb's Spider-Man.
So they botched it.
Yeah, but like I feel like Sony's not gonna travel that road again. And I feel like Craven has too much story potential to be wasted as like a
Right, because I
background.
guess you would be introducing him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for the last one, I'm not sure actually, because I'm trying to think of all the other Sinister Six villains that they've used in the comics.
Yeah, there's been a ton of different variations over the years.
They've like the Lizard's been in there once, I think.
I think so. Electro has been in for a while.
Yeah.
Sandman.
Yeah, like I don't know, Sandman would be cool, Electro would be cool, but like again, they've
done them.
Yeah. So it's hard. I'm not really sure. Electro would be cool because I feel like his powers are so different from everyone else's.
Okay. All right. So do you think they win? Do they beat Spider-Man at the end?
I mean, every time they've introduced the Sinister Six, they do beat the snot out of him.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be cool if they did. Put him out of commission for a little while. You see New York continue on dealing with the Sinister Six.
And so you're saying that Tom Holland's in it, but he's not the focus.
Yes. Rather than like split the movie 70-30 with like hero to villain, maybe do 40-60. I guess similar to like Infinity War.
So, okay, so what's the tone of this? Is it still on like the same Spidey vein or is it a little bit darker?
I'm thinking
type
like
movie?
first Fast and the Furious.
Okay. Okay, so do you have people in mind who you cast? I guess you have Michael
really.
Keaton and Jake Gyllenhaal
Yeah.
returning.
But imagine Norman Osborn, Gary Busey.
All right. He's like 70 now, I think, and has brain damage.
No, I'm honestly not great with casting.
That's true. You're not. You didn't know who Salma Hayek is?
I don't know what that is.
You never know who Camille Nanjiani is. Who's Christopher Walken playing in yours?
Oh, definitely Electro.
Electro?
Mhm.
Okay.
Jim Carrey is playing.
Look out. I'm going to shock you.
Jim Carrey is playing Doc Ock because,
All right. Who was your other one? Electro?
Chameleon.
Oh, Chameleon. Oh, you wanted that guy from Barry, right? The guy with alopecia. Doesn't have any hair or eyebrows.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually a good casting. He would work.
You would.
Yeah. He's really funny too.
That's like his real, like a real thing he has, right?
Yeah, that's what alopecia is. It just means you can't grow
But
hair.
that's not part of his character. Like that's not his character. Like he doesn't shave his head.
No. The actor has alopecia.
Nice.
And then they've just incorporated it into the character.
gotta
All
watch
right.
that.
All right. I dig it. Sinister Six. It could work.
I don't know what you would call it. Spider-Man. Homesick.
Home Six. Oh, who's your MCU character who shows up? Like, you know how Iron Man's in Homecoming, Nick Fury's in
Oh, it's Hulk for sure.
Hulk? He's Smart Hulk.
Smart Hulk still.
All right. Would you like to hear mine?
Absolutely. Nah, I'm not really.
Mine's a little bit more polished because I had a long car ride to think about it. Okay, so mine is Spider-Man's in his senior year.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
And he's kind of thinking, I've reached the point in my life. Maybe Spider-Man's a teenager type thing. Maybe when I'm done high school, I'm done with Spider-Man.
But he's planned so far ahead. He's calling himself Spider-Man. Sorry, go on.
No, it's fine. I always thought because they're trying to avoid what has been done before in the Raimi and the Webb Spider-Man movies that like they haven't really touched on the great power with great responsibility thing.
Mhm.
They haven't gone back to showing Uncle Ben or anything like that. So I thought this is the movie that they could do it. They could go back and Peter could be reinvigorated and reminded of that lesson.
Doing the origin at the end.
Yes. Yeah. So he's decided, okay, when I'm done high school, I'm done with Spider-Man. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to make a man of myself and, use my talents elsewhere.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, there's been this reports of this giant lizard running around New York City.
Ooh.
And, and it's dangerous. He's been eating dogs. He's been attacking sewer workers and stuff. So Spider-Man starts investigating and he finds out that this giant lizard is a doctor named Dr. Connors who works at NYU, the college he's going to go to.
What?
So he makes friends with him and he finds out that this guy is changing into a lizard using a serum, but the serum's like a drug to him, like he's addicted to it. So he doesn't want to be the lizard, but it feels so good. And so it's like so Peter kind of feels for him
Mhm.
a little bit. And he's kind of a tragic villain.
Would he be like a mentor to Peter as well? Is this like
I don't know if I would do like Peter knows Connors. I think it would just be Spider-Man and Connors or friends. So anyway, instead of trying to like defeat the lizard, he's trying to save him like from his own addiction through it. But meanwhile, these reports get out. So someone hires the world famous hunter Craven to come in and hunt down this lizard that's been terrorizing New York City. So he shows up, and almost immediately it's pretty clear that he's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like he's putting civilians in, like he's using them as bait. You know, all he cares about is getting his prey. And so Spider-Man has to like fight him off because he's trying to save the lizard. But the lizard is just like this. When he's the lizard, he's like an animal. And so he doesn't get that Spider-Man's trying to save him.
Because vicious all around.
Yeah. And so anyway, they'll meet up and fight as you do. But at one point in the movie, Peter will convince Connors to stop using the serum. And then he'll relapse. And then someone close to him, let's say Aunt May, gets hurt because of it. And so Peter's like, you know what? Screw that guy. Like I was trying to save him and he's just, he won't listen, and screw him. And you know what? I wasn't going to be Spider-Man after high school. Maybe I just won't be Spider-Man now. Craven can just deal with him. He's going to get him and problem solved. Craven will leave after he gets the lizard. Done.
Reasonable.
And then so he has a conversation with Aunt May, and she reminds him of what his Uncle Ben used to always say. With great power comes great responsibility. They have a little cry, you know, share a buddy tart and hug it out. And then so Peter goes back and tries to convince Connors one last time to not do it. And so he does. He convinces him. And this time Connors is going to destroy the serum. And he's like, I'm done with it. You're right. This is awful. Craven shows up, stabs him with a serum because he wants his prize. Prey. I don't know. And there's a giant three-way fight and Spider-Man wins. Duh. The end.
Do you think Aunt May would give that talk to him knowing that he's Spider-Man?
Maybe she wouldn't know that was like the driving force of him, but maybe it's just like, this is what Uncle Ben used to say. I know how much you used to look up to him. And he always had that thing he used to say.
Because I guess she does like sneak his costume into his like suitcase for Homecoming or Far From Home.
Yeah.
So, all right. Yeah, I can see that. That'd be a cool way. And then you'd introduce Craven
and the lizard. But the lizard, I think at the end of it, the lizard's kind of done.
Yeah.
But you have Connors.
And you have Craven to be like, hey,
that's stupid Spider-Man.
That's a prey I want. I want to hang that mask.
A teenage boy's head. Oh, yeah. So as Dr. Connors, you want someone who is kind of like mild-mannered looking, but can kind of play that dark schizo kind of thing.
Henry Cavill.
Close. I went with Jimmy Simpson from Westworld. You gonna look him up real quick? I'll just vamp while you do that. Jimmy Simpson, Jimmy.
Okay, yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see that. That's cool. I dig it.
Yeah. So he could play the family man, but he could also kind of play the darker version of it.
The drug addict too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for Craven, I don't know if he would ever do it because it would mean he'd have to get jacked again.
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, boy.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and that's his way into the MCU. He only has to do a movie like every little bit if they keep Craven around, which realistically it would be this movie and probably a Sinister Six movie.
Yeah, so probably like 2 movies.
Yeah.
Or 3 if it's a 2-parter. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So wait.
And Keanu Reeves is Uncle Ben.
So Connors, would he be the teacher in like Pete's school, like high school? Or would he
No,
be?
he would be at university. Like he would teach at NYU.
Yeah.
And then so maybe you have him in the future. Maybe Peter has classes with him.
Yeah.
In another movie. Because he's just like becomes like a cool ally to Peter after they fight off the lizard, at least in comics that I've been reading.
He goes to, he's like his go-to for any kind of scientific research.
Yeah.
Would you have him with a missing arm, or would you have him have like a synthetic arm?
Missing arm.
Prosthetic.
Missing arm for sure.
Yeah.
Because if you have a synthetic arm, there's no desire to do that research to grow your arm back. That is one thing that doesn't really work with the lizard now. And I think about it, like in modern day, prosthetics have advanced so much. It's just like, why would you go into research trying to regrow limbs?
I mean, you could always go look at it from a way that like, I can't remember how he loses it initially.
I don't know if they ever really explain it. I think she was introduced in like the 60s. So maybe it was implied that it was from World War II.
Yeah.
Or
you can also play it off like maybe he lost that arm unjustly through some accident. And
Okay.
he's still angry about it. Then he gets into research about growing arms back.
Plus, they have extremis. Remember how Tony Stark perfected that?
Right. What the hell?
I'm just poking holes in my own pitch now.
Well, that's a dangerous thing to have around. You can't just sell that and toss that.
Mhm.
Stark's dead. That secret's lost forever.
That's true.
He doesn't keep notes.
That's true.
There's no computers.
I mean, there was that name tag he gave Maya Hansen, but he was drunk when he wrote that.
So my theory was basically just tossing Spider-Man into almost like that Spider-Man PS4 situation.
Like a gauntlet of villains.
Yeah. But I feel like yours probably makes more sense.
Well, I thought about it for a while, and it was
I thought about mine.
No, I just meant I thought more of it, what was Peter going through? I don't know if it came across, but the whole point I was trying to get with my pitch was that Peter doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore, but learns he has to be. And then the villains are just kind of like
obstacles.
Yeah, while he figures that out. Like Spider-Man 2, the best Spider-Man.
It's debatable.
All right. Anyway, so we pitched those movies. Do you have your own Spider-Man 3 pitch? Like, comment, and subscribe. No, I'm genuinely curious if you have your little old fan fiction of what you think
I don't know.
Spider-Man 3 should be.
I feel like I feel like Spider-Man is one of those characters that's been done enough and people know him as a character that it'd be fun to kind of get ideas of where people are expecting this to go.
Yeah. Well, Victor, to prepare for Spider-Man Far From Home coming next week, we watched its predecessor, Spider-Man Homecoming, this week.
Dang right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming. You watched it again this week, right?
Yeah, I watched it last night. What did you think of it, Victor? Non-spoilers.
I do like it. I think I keep fighting with it between either the best or the second best. It's fighting for number one spot with Spider-Man 2, obviously. Because,
okay,
I don't know. This is one of those movies where it's all the Spider-Man movies that came before it. It's a lot of things that's been done. So it feels like Marvel's been picking up pieces that Sony hasn't touched yet and then trying to work that into a first Spider-Man movie in the MCU. And it does very well with what it has. But I can't help but think that it'd be so much better if they did this or if they did that. But overall, I think for Spider-Man's first outing in the MCU, it's a pretty darn good one. It doesn't feel like an origin movie. It doesn't suffer from the typical cookie cutter Marvel origin story.
Okay.
I like the villain. I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I like the supporting cast. There's not a lot that I don't like about it. What about you? What did you think?
I thought it was good. Let's go into the spoilers, Victor.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is Spider-Man's second appearance in the MCU, but this is his first solo movie.
Yeah, his first.
So it takes place right after Captain America: Civil War. Actually has a montage at the beginning that kind of happens, that coincides with Civil War.
Yeah, you see a bit of Peter's vlog throughout his trip to Germany.
I really liked that.
Yeah, it's very different because you can't picture any other MCU character doing that.
Yeah, I like that, and that's what I really liked about this movie is it is so uniquely Spider-Man that you're right. It doesn't feel cookie cutter like the other MCU movies. What I like most about this one is that, as you were saying, how it tries to avoid what the other Spider-Man movies have done before it. And it does so well. It tiptoes all the things that we've seen before and are kind of numb to. And it manages to do with great power comes great responsibility without actually coming out and saying it. And hitting us over the head with Uncle Ben's death again. Yeah,
I feel like they've replaced that Uncle Ben thing with being responsible to Tony Stark to prove himself.
Yeah. And that's the thing I love about Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man is that he feels like a kid.
Yeah.
He's smart, but he's inexperienced and naive. And it comes across, he's excited about everything. And I think it's a little bit different than Toby and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Yeah. And his arc makes perfect sense that he's looked up to Iron Man probably his whole life. Why wouldn't he be so excited to jump at the opportunity to prove himself?
Yeah, as a potential, almost like a sidekick.
Yeah.
Or just a member of the Avengers. Because that's kind of all you hear about the beginning of the first act. He's asked about being an Avenger. He's talking about joining the Avengers.
Yeah, even Ned is are you an Avenger? He's yeah, of course.
Basically. Yeah, because then when Happy tells him oh yeah, we're moving Avengers Tower up north. He's well, what about me? What about you? You're not an Avenger yet. You don't matter.
Yeah, I like that too. And skipping ahead to the end, like I like that the entire movie is leading up to him joining the Avengers, and I like that he's figured out, you know what? Maybe I don't need this.
Just yet,
And
yeah.
yeah. So and then they completely ruin that decision because the next movie, Infinity War, they immediately make him an Avenger. But
To be fair, he probably wasn't gonna make it back. I mean, I don't know.
I really like when you have movies like that where you think it's about one thing, but really it's about something else. And the entire time it's about this other thing. And then it's not really till the end that you kind of go like, oh yeah, it wasn't him proving himself to be an Avenger. It was learning how to be his own person.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's like a coming of age movie.
That's exactly what, that's a good term. Did you just make that up? Did you just coin that?
Yep. No one's ever said that before.
Wow.
Yep.
I like that.
Am
Can I use that?
movie genius. Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
You can't. I never want to hear that out of your mouth.
I won't ever use it. I like this movie too because more than any other MCU movie, it feels like this movie takes place in the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's done from like ground level, right? Because it's populated by a bunch of characters who have nothing to do with saving lives or fighting bad guys, and so you just kind of get to see what day-to-day life looks like in the universe.
Yeah.
I really like that. I enjoy that world building.
It's also nice too. So again, with one of those things that like where they stay away from what Mark Webb and Sam Raimi's done. They've stayed away from like his two main love interests. They stay away from Gwen. They stay away from Mary Jane. Kind of. Still don't like that decision. They skipped Great Power, Great Responsibility, Uncle Ben origin story.
Yeah.
And they stayed away from showing off a bunch of montages of him swing through the city.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of him showing his like web swinging skills.
Well, I got the impression that he had never done that. Like it wasn't that he was just doing it off screen. Like I don't think he's ever been outside of Queens as Spider-Man until Civil War.
Gotcha. I see.
Because like there's that moment where when he climbs the Washington Monument and he gets to the top of it, and he's kind of like realizing how high he is.
Oh yeah, I didn't catch that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that he's never done that yet, and I think that's maybe something that they're gonna build towards.
Yeah.
Because that would be like Midtown or something like that. I don't know.
So I watched Spider-Man 2 a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very different from those movies because like, yeah, there's a lot of things that they don't touch on. Like they don't see cool shots of Spider-Man swinging around looking all badass and cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they really ground him by doing that because he's taking the bus or he's having issues swinging around on these like
golf courses
neighborhoods with no tall buildings. And like it's a problem that they've never like really dealt with before in the movies, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that because then again, it adds to like this is the beginning of his career. He is really young and really inexperienced, and he's figuring it out as he goes along. What was that term you used? Coming
of age, Josh.
Oh, okay.
It'll catch on. It'll catch on.
You think so? I like it. Yeah, going back to what I was saying about like the universe building though, like there's so much cameos and stuff like that. Like even just in the background, I guess they're not cameos, they're Easter eggs, but like the principal is the same actor as one of the Howling Commandos in Captain America.
Yeah. And he has a picture of
his grandfather, assuming, in his office. And Howard Stark, there's a mural in their school.
Yeah.
And Howard Stark is in the mural with like Einstein and stuff. Bruce Banner has a picture in their science class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
But even stuff like the retro reflection panels of the plane at the end, like they introduced that in the first Avengers movie.
Right.
I just dig that kind of continuity stuff.
I think my favorite like cameo was Cap's little video, and like it's on like that little TV trolley, and it's like as the video's playing, he's like, "Let me introduce you to your gym teacher. He's gonna run this," but like Cap points to his right, but Hannibal Buress is like on the left. He's like, I'm pretty sure he's a war criminal, but whatever.
Oh, and Mr. Harrington, the debate team teacher, he has a cameo in the Incredible Hulk movie.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same actor. He was in the college that Edward Norton visits to get some data about the experiment.
This is at the end?
No, it's in the middle, right before he meets Betty.
Okay.
He like sneaks into the college and he's working in a computer lab, and that actor, Martin Starr, is running the computer lab.
Interesting.
I bet you that's the same guy. He went to college there and now he's a teacher in New York. Yeah. And I mean, and then like kids are like playing F, Marry, Kill with the Avengers.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
And Flash says he has a hot date with Black Widow at some point. So it's just like all this. It just adds to the credibility of the universe. I just love that stuff.
Yeah.
But speaking of Avengers, Victor, what? No Hawkeye? Actually, I heard rumor. You know the part where the boat splits and Iron Man shows up to rescue it. I heard rumor that the whole roster of the current Avengers at that time were going to show up. So I think it was Vision and Rhodey would also show up to help.
And do what? Shoot the boat? What's Rhodey going to do?
Push it together? I don't know.
What'd you think of the villain of this, Vulture?
He's pretty great. It's refreshing because we've gotten so many, I'm going to conquer the world villains. It's refreshing to get, I'm just trying to make a little money on the side.
Yeah, it's like a little smaller story, kind of like Ant-Man.
Well, even that guy who was like, I'm going to have this weapon so I can make a bunch of money and so I'm going to rule the world with it. Blue collar guy who's just making a little money, stealing things.
Yeah.
And he just happens to look like a vulture with his high-tech suit.
I like that they just leaned into that. It's like, it doesn't make any sense design-wise. Just would have been better just to have a jetpack. Like, why is it?
I dig it. Yeah. I dig it.
I like to just lean into it. Like, just lean into that Vulture design. It doesn't have to make sense from like a design standpoint, but just do it.
Why not?
Yeah, I really like him because it's like like you said, he's not like your typical high-powered villain. He's not Electro. He's not even like Green Goblin. Like, even Green Goblin is still pretty tame compared to like all the other super villains out there. But like he's just
a guy
with with enough tech that makes him threatening enough that Peter would have an issue with him as his first like super villain.
Yeah.
But yeah, not too crazy. And he's relatable too, which is even better.
Exactly. You get it, but you know, maybe you wouldn't do it, but like, it's not even like that crazy. You know what I mean? It's not like Thanos where it's like, I see his point, but come on, dude, you're going to kill half the universe. Whereas Vulture, it's just like, oh, I get it. You didn't have any money, so you started stealing and you got good at it. Okay. I get it. I was very excited the first time I watched this movie because I was like, oh, finally, like a villain that's not actually connected to Peter.
Yeah.
And then the twist.
Son of a
Hey, I'm Liz's dad. That was a great scene, though. As much as I was like, oh, really? That was one of the best sequences in the movie. Like, even just them meeting, Peter's all nervous because he's the villain, but it's easily mistaken for he's nervous because it's prom night and he's meeting parents for the first time. And then there's the car ride. It's like each of the characters are like in their own movie.
Yeah. Liz is completely separate from the rest of them. Just like, oh yeah. It's going to be awesome. Dance.
And I love that he figures it out.
Yeah,
like
I like that you can see him piecing it together.
Yeah. And it's not like he sees him on a security camera taking off his mask or something like that. Or
it was what was it? Liz mentioned Spider-Man being in DC with them.
That Peter wasn't in the elevator with them.
Something like that, I can't remember.
But it's not just that. It's like there's a whole bunch of clues. So it's not just like he gets one clue and he's like, but that means you're Spider-Man. It's enough that you go like, yeah, I could see someone piece that together.
Yeah, I like that part.
Yeah, he's a good villain. Good villain.
Very threatening.
I hope they go more in that direction. I've said this a number of times, but I like villains that are just high-powered burglars. I like that more than I was tortured as a child and now I need to repay the world for those crimes.
Well, that seems like an overreaction.
I'm not saying they're not implausible, but I'm just a little sick of them.
Yeah.
They've been leaning into that.
I don't know. I feel like every other superhero that's led up to like the MCU has always been like, oh, I was wronged a few years ago, so now I'm going to destroy the world.
Yeah.
Is that the only story that we can need to focus on? What about the guy that just robs banks with a pair of gauntlets that shoots pillows?
Yeah.
Or wait, no, that's not what I meant. Shoots sound waves dressed like a pillow.
No, I like the first one better.
People that shows up just get like smothered with pillows.
They call him Slumber Party.
Pillow fighter. Just handing out naps.
We're another villain, though, created by Tony Stark.
Yep. And another villain connected to Peter Parker.
Yeah. But he's great. I liked him a lot. What did you think of Ned?
Does Ned wear a wig?
Yes.
Because like I've seen him in interviews and he is buzz cut.
He's not buzz cut, shaved head, cue ball.
Is he?
Yeah. Like he's bald already. Like he has like a big old bald spot in the top of his head.
Whoa. How old is he?
He's got to be in his early 20s now.
Shit. That would
sucks. Yeah.
But
He
that
looks
wig
good, though.
looks good with the wig too.
So you liked Ned because of his hair? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, I like him. I like him as the guy in the chair. I like him as like the curious friend that's like super jazzed that his best friend is a superhero.
And like when he blurts out that Peter knows Spider-Man, like that's such a 15-year-old kid thing to do,
Yeah.
right? Or what was it later when he's like, man, everyone's really stoked you saved them at the monument. Should we tell everyone that you're Spider-Man? It's like, no. Should I tell everyone?
I like that you can tell it's having a really hard time containing
It's just
himself.
burning up inside of him.
Or like that. I think the scene that really like sold me on him was when he was in the computer lab at school at the prom, and teacher's just like, "What are you doing here?" It's like, watching porn.
Yeah, I like too in that sequence because they're playing it up like it's the hacker who's helping him, and all he's looking up is how to turn on headlights on a car.
Yeah, it really does hit home the small scale movie.
Yeah, and again, they just feel like kids.
Yeah,
like it's high stakes, but once you have there's that scene, the scene we talked about where Ned goes, Peter knows Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Peter is doing sit-ups, and because Ned is just pestering him with questions, he's not paying attention. He's doing a bunch of sit-ups.
Yeah,
and then the coach walks by and says, "Looking good, Parker." And then immediately Peter's like, "Oh," and then starts looking like he's struggling with them. And I just love that little touch of just like, I have to maintain, like I can't suddenly become athletic.
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
You remember when in the first Avengers, they brought Banner up to the helicarrier, and he's still like naturally avoiding like security guards and stuff. Like, looking directly at them.
Yeah, nice little character moment.
Yeah, little touches like that. I dig it.
Yeah, that's why Marvel knocks it out of the park all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. What did you think of Spider-Man's suit?
I really liked it when it first came out, like when we first saw it in theaters. But I recently saw a picture of somewhere people were complaining about how the suit looked too CGI.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you can tell when it's a CGI version because like it's almost like a painted on suit. Like it's so.
Yeah, there's no suit wrinkles or anything.
Yeah, there's no fabric indication where like joints are bending. Like there are, but like there's not enough. The webbing on his suit, it's very faint. So like from like 6 feet away, it almost looks like he's just wearing like a red and blue suit. There's no webbing of any sort. But someone like highlighted the black webbing and made them a little bit darker, and it makes the suit look so much better. I'm actually kind of surprised that they went with that route and didn't do the webbing on it.
Yeah.
Overall, I like the suit. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of gadgets in there. I like that he has Karen in his head, the AI. I like that he talks to the AI. Because in the comics, Spider-Man talks to himself quite a bit. He's a lot of thought bubbles. So like this kind of helps flesh out his thought process a bit more.
Yeah, and without making it look weird that he's just talking out loud to himself.
Because like there's I don't know, in the other Spider-Man movies, like he'll be fighting, I don't know, some villain, he's encountering some problem, and like, you'll hear him kind of talk himself through that situation, try to figure out how to solve the issue. But like, sometimes it is a little awkward. It feels too much like he's telling us
what he's thinking. Yeah.
Whereas here, at least, it feels like we're just listening in, which is how it should be.
It's a good solution for that. Yeah. Like even having Ned find out that he's Spider-Man, just so that he has someone to talk to about it.
Yeah.
I agree. I like all the extra stuff. Well, actually, no, I don't like all the extra tech of the Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's my geeky side of like how much I love Spider-Man and how underdog he is, that I don't like that Tony Stark just gave him all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like he has like 500 different web variations right off the bat. And he has this incredibly high-tech suit with its own AI and trackers and stuff like that. It kind of takes away Spider-Man's ingenuity a little bit. But for the movie, it totally works. And for the reasons we just said, where he needs to share his thought process. It also really hits home the contrast when he switches to the homemade suit at the end of the movie for the climax.
Yeah, because then it's focused all on him and not necessarily the tech that he can use as a crutch.
Well, and I think that's exactly the point, is it's supposed to be too much tech.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like all the things I didn't like about this movie, it's just more my geekiness fighting how good of a movie it is, like the decisions they made to make it a better movie.
Yeah.
Like I don't like that Ned knows that he's Spider-Man. I don't like how Aunt May found out he's Spider-Man at the end.
Yeah, it's too many people that know.
Yeah, too many. And they did this thing in this movie that they've done in other comic book movies, especially when they first started making comic book movies, where they just take a name from the comic and just throw it on a character that has nothing to do with that character. Like, did you know the blonde girl who's doing the news? That's Betty Brant.
Yeah.
Like, that's not at all what her character is.
Yeah.
And like Ned Leeds that's not who that character is either. And
well, I don't know. I guess because in the comics he did go to school with Betty, and like they did date at one point. And I remember she was saying that like, oh, I had a crush on you back in high school.
Oh, maybe that's a newer version I haven't read, because the ones I've read, she was only ever J. Jonah Jameson's secretary, and they did date. But I always thought she was older, like because Peter was in high school. I always thought she was like just out of high school,
right?
When he was in high school.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, but that's besides the point. Like they just throw names on there. On the one hand, it's like, oh, it's that character, but on the other hand, it's like, that's not really them.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem with this movie is it almost seems like there's no real consequence to Peter's actions.
How so?
Like outside of Tony Stark's eyes. Well, like he bails on the debate team twice, and like he's let them down both times, and like nothing really bad happens. Nothing really.
He gets detention, but he should have been expelled. Like not expelled, but at least suspended.
Yeah.
The way it looks like he just went on the trip to get a free trip.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like imagine being like for like Liz, right? And be like, what the hell? Like we were relying on you, and then you bailed on us again. Like kind of wish there was some kind of like character to character punishment.
Well, there kind of is. Like she barely wants to speak to him at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I guess. But I think that was more because like her dad's situation.
I guess so. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Responsibility is like one of Spider-Man's big themes. So like it just felt like they neglected that in here.
Well, being kind of a timeline nerd, Uncle Ben died within like 8 months of this movie. Yeah. So they might be giving him a little, like maybe not like the other students, but like him not getting in severe trouble for ditching the debate team. It may just be like, well, he's acting out because his dad died recently, and it was also, they dealt with a tragedy, right? Like, can you imagine, like, say you go on a school trip and an accident like that happens where an elevator drops and luckily no one dies, and you get back and they're like, by the way, you're suspended.
That's exactly how it happened.
We're glad you're alive and you're safe, especially because the school would be liable, but you're suspended. I get it. I get what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I get maybe they pushed more of the like responsibility to like being Spider-Man to for Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be kind of cool if they like kind of hit him on both homes.
Yeah, I will say though, I did like those moments. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of repercussions other than feeling his guilt.
Yeah,
but I did like those moments because that's the love-hate thing I have with Spider-Man is his two personas are always battling each other for, I don't know, for dominance, whoever wins or whatever. And so I loved all those moments where he chose to be Spider-Man and he had to sacrifice something to do it. And again, not that high of stakes, but because he's a kid, you really feel it. Like he ditched his date at the prom, at homecoming of all things.
That's the biggest event of your life.
As an adult, you're like, whatever. But because he's a kid, everything's dialed up to 11, right? So like you really feel it.
Even with that complaint, I still think this is like one of the best Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
for sure. Like,
and again, I think it's not to put words in your mouth, but I feel that's the same thing with me where they did that to make a better movie. And it's probably just your Spider-Man fandom like coming up against
probably.
It, right?
How do you feel about Flash being portrayed as like a cool nerd and not necessarily like a jock?
I think it fits. I think it's a modernized version of him. I think he's absolutely the same character.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they've screwed up because I've read a lot of stuff online where they're like they've ruined his character. If you
described his character, if it matches his character in the comics.
And I think it's Tony I don't know how to say his last name, so I'll just call him Tony Ravioli. He does such a good job. Like there's just only a few scenes of Flash here and there, but you totally get him.
Yeah.
In those few scenes of just like, this is why he hates Peter. This is why he's so hard on him. Even when at the end, when he's coming up, he's driving in his car and Spider-Man jumps on the hood and says, I need your car. Like you can just like he says something about his dad, and you're just like, oh, I bet you his dad is not as involved as he'd like him to be.
Yeah.
Like you can just, it's just a great performance, and like you get Flash right away, and you're just like, yep, he's a bully, but I totally get why he's picking on Peter.
Oh, I like this. I like this Flash.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little weird that they changed his like background, but I don't like it when they do that with characters, especially very like classic characters like that.
Okay.
But again, side character. I don't know if it matters.
Well, I think we've talked about this before, but maybe I'm wrong, but does that kind of bully exist anymore? Like the jock bully?
I don't know.
Because I feel like it's more like, I feel like Flash is like this Flash is more representative of what bullies are like nowadays.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
So I feel like jocks are now made fun of and have become the bullied. I feel like, oh, you play football? You must be dumb.
I don't
know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I haven't been to school in a long time. I haven't had to deal with bullies since, beginning of high school. So
I'm dealing with one right now.
Shut up.
No, you're my neighbor.
Oh. I think that's pretty much everything I had to say about this movie.
Yeah, it's one of those movies. It's like it's just good. Like there's the majority of things that we've talked about is mainly about the design of the movie and like the direction, not necessarily about like the quality of the movie.
Or the plot or whatever.
Yeah.
I have one little cool thing to say about Tony.
Uh-huh.
Did you notice, the scene where he comes out of the suit? He's like, Peter's like, if you really cared, you'd actually be here.
Yeah.
And he walks out of the suit.
What a champ.
A, I really like that scene. And B, there's a cool moment in it where Robert Downey Jr. does this. He just grabs his wrist at one point.
Yeah.
If you're following the timeline, it's because Civil War happened 2 months ago. He had a
sprained arm
or broken arm or something in that movie. And so I just like that. It's just like, this still kind of is bothering me. I like that little touch that they added to that.
Do you notice that was like, that scene looked really CGI?
Yeah. Because they filmed it on a green screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when the trailer for this movie came out years and years ago, I remember saying to you, I forgot how much I loved Spider-Man. And this trailer reminded me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because we were just kind of stuck in those Amazing Spider-Man movies for a while, and he kind of became a punchline a little bit.
Of a joke, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is the epitome of this movie, that it just reminds you of why you loved Spider-Man in the first place. They nailed it.
I agree. Sorry, just looking at your the Blu-ray cover for Spider-Man, like the little cardboard sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
The back is upside down.
So is your face.
What? Anyways, anything more you want to say, or do you want to wrap it up?
I think that's it. I loved this movie. It's probably one of my favorites in the MCU. Easily one of my favorite Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best.
MCU for me, I think that, I don't know. This might be in my top 10, but not top 5.
All right. Yeah, I don't know how close it is to the top, but yeah, it's up there. Like, it's really well done.
Uh-huh.
I'm really excited for Far From Home.
Yeah,
next week.
I'm watching it on Monday, and I was like, oh yeah, Far From Home. I think just talking about it this episode, like, yeah, I'm feeling the hype again.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Mysterio is your favorite villain?
He's definitely up there.
Yeah,
he's my top 3 for sure.
He's up there for me too. So I'm excited to see what they do with him.
My biggest fear is that he's gonna be really like a big brother, like very normal. But then as soon as they put him as a villain in this movie, that he's just gonna go full villain and like just do a 180. And like I don't like it when they do that.
I see what you're saying. We'll just have to find out next week.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I hope it's good, because Marvel tends to have a reputation for the second movie in their franchise is always not as good as the first one. Sometimes it's just not as good. Other times it's kind of bland.
Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2.
I'm hoping this is more of a Winter Soldier, which is the exception to that rule.
Like the only exception. Let us know what you think of Spider-Man: Homecoming, where it falls on your list of MCU movies. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us directly at averageuninformed@gmail.com. And
don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, if you want, who cares?
Do it. And we'll talk to you guys next week for Far From Home.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.